The formation of the United Gold Coast Convention, the dawn of Ghana's independence movement. Introduction. The formation of the United Gold Coast Convention UGCC marked a significant turning point in the history of the Gold Coast, setting the stage for the country's eventual independence. This document provides a comprehensive account of the factors leading to the establishment of the UGCC, the key individuals involved, the organization's goals, and its initial impact on the colonial political landscape. Chapter 1. Historical Context. The political and social climate before the UGCC. Before the formation of the UGCC in 1947, the Gold Coast was under British colonial rule, experiencing a range of socio-economic and political changes. The colony was a hub of economic activity, particularly in cocoa production, which became the backbone of its economy. However, the benefits of this economic prosperity were not equitably distributed, as the British colonial administration maintained control over the most lucrative sectors, leaving indigenous farmers at a disadvantage. The socio-political landscape was marked by growing dissatisfaction among the educated elite and the broader populace. Early nationalist sentiments were articulated through organizations such as the Aborigines Rights Protection Society (ARPS), which was established in 1897 to oppose the Crown Lands Bill that threatened indigenous land rights. This society laid the groundwork for future political activism by challenging colonial policies and advocating for the rights of the indigenous people. Post-World War II influences. The end of the World War II brought significant changes to the political dynamics of the Gold Coast. Many ex-servicemen who had fought alongside the British returned home with heightened expectations for improved social and political conditions. Their experience in the war and exposure to broader global ideas about self-determination fueled their desire for political change. The post-war period also saw increased economic hardship, with rising inflation and unemployment creating further discontent among the population. Strikes and protests became more common as workers demanded better wages and working conditions. The confluence of these factors created a fertile ground for a more organized and forceful nationalist movement.
6th of March 1957, when the Gold Coast successfully get their independence officially. Ghana is the name. We wish to proclaim.
Chapter 2. The Genesis of the UGCC. Founding members and their vision. In response to the growing dissatisfaction with colonial rule, a group of educated elite and influential businessmen came together to form the United Gold Coast Convention UGCC. The founding members included J.B. Danquah, George Alfred Parr Grant, R.S. Blay, Francis Awuno Williams, and Edward Ekufu-Addo, among others. These individuals shared a common vision of achieving self-governance for the Gold Coast through peaceful and constitutional means. J.B. Danquah, often regarded as the Darwin of Ghanaian politics, Danquah was a lawyer, philosopher, and historian. His education in the United Kingdom exposed him to Western political thought, which greatly influenced his vision for the Gold Coast. Danquah's intellectual prowess and leadership skills were instrumental in shaping the UGCC strategies and goals. George Alfred Parr Grant. A wealthy businessman and philanthropist, Parr Grant provided the financial backbone for the UGCC. His substantial contributions enabled the organization to sustain its activities and expand its reach across the Gold Coast. Edward Ekufu-Addo, a prominent lawyer who would later become the Chief Justice of Ghana and the country's second president. Ekufu-Addo's legal expertise and dedication to the nationalist cause were invaluable to the UGCC's efforts. R.S. Blay and Francis Awuno Williams. These founding members brought their organizational skills and political acumen to the UGCC, helping to coordinate its activities and mobilize support from various segments of society. The founding meeting in Salt Pond. The UGCC was officially established on August 4, 1947 in Salt Pond, a coastal town in the central region of the Gold Coast. The inaugural meeting brought together a diverse group of individuals who were united by their shared goal of achieving self-governance. During this meeting, the UGCC's objectives, strategies, and organizational structure were outlined, and a commitment was made to pursue independence through constitutional reforms. Chapter 3: Objectives and Strategies. Goals of the UGCC. The primary objective of the UGCC was to achieve self-governance for the Gold Coast within the shortest possible time. This goal was encapsulated in the organization's motto, reflecting the urgency and determination of its leaders. The UGCC aimed to accomplish this through the following means. 1. Constitutional reforms. The UGCC sought to negotiate the British colonial administration for constitutional changes that would grant greater political representation and autonomy to the Gold Coast indigenous population. 2. Political mobilization. The organization aimed to educate and mobilize the masses, fostering a sense of political awareness and participation among the populace. 3. Protection of indigenous rights. The UGCC was committed to protecting the land rights and economic interests of the indigenous people, ensuring that they were not further marginalized by colonial policies. Strategies for achieving independence. The UGCC adopted a multifaceted approach to achieving its objectives. 1. Engagement with colonial authorities. The UGCC leaders believed in engaging with the colonial administration through dialogue and negotiation to achieve constitutional reforms. They aimed to work within the existing political framework to ensure gradual but significant changes. 2. Public rallies and protests. The UGCC organized numerous public rallies and protests to raise awareness about their cause and mobilize support from the broader population. These events were crucial in galvanizing public sentiment and putting pressure on the colonial government. 3. Formation of alliances. The UGCC sought to build alliances with other nationalist movements and organizations both within the Gold Coast and across Africa. This strategy aimed to create a unified front against colonial rule and leverage broader support for their cause. Chapter 4: The Arrival of Kwame Nkrumah. Nkrumah's recruitment and influence. In 1947, the UGCC recruited Kwame Nkrumah and appointed him as the General Secretary of the UGCC to invigorate their efforts and expand their reach. His background in political activism and exposure to socialist and Pan-African ideologies provided a new dimension to the UGCC's campaign for independence. Ideological tensions within the organization eventually led to a split within the UGCC. In 1949, Nkrumah broke away to form the Convention People's Party. Chapter 5: Initial Impact and Achievements. Mobilization of mass support. One of the UGCC's most significant achievements was the successful mobilization of mass support for the nationalist cause. Through rallies, protests, and public engagements, the UGCC was able to galvanize a broad cross-section of the Gold Coast's population, including workers, farmers, and the educated elite. The February 28, 1948 Accra riots were a direct result of the UGCC's efforts to raise awareness and demand change. The riots were sparked by protests led by ex-servicemen who were demanding better conditions and fair treatment. The violent suppression of the protest by the colonial police resulted in the deaths of several ex-servicemen, triggering widespread riots and civil unrest. The arrest of the Big Six. The colonial administration's response to the riots was to arrest 6 key leaders of the UGCC, known as the Big Six: J.B. Danquah, Pa Grant, Edward Akufo-Addo, William Ofori-Atta, Emmanuel Obeche-Bilamte, and Ebenezer Akweje. The arrests brought international attention to the Gold Coast struggle for independence and increased pressure on the British government to consider constitutional reforms. Formation of the Kose Committee. In the aftermath of the riots and the subsequent political unrest, the British colonial administration established the Kose Committee to draft a new constitution for the Gold Coast. The UGCC played a crucial role in advocating for this committee and influencing its recommendations. The committee's report led to significant political reforms, including the introduction of a more representative legislative council and increased in African participation in the colonial administration. The legacy of the United Gold Coast Convention is deeply woven into the fabric of Ghana's political history and continues to influence the country's democratic landscape. Formed in 1947, the UGCC was the first significant political movement to demand self-governance in the Gold Coast, setting the stage for the broader nationalist movement that led to Ghana's independence. Pioneering independence. The UGCC's formation marked the beginning of an organized effort to end British colonial rule. By mobilizing the educated elite and influential businessmen, the UGCC created a political environment that encouraged other nationalist movements, most notably the Convention People's Party (CPP), led by Kwame Nkrumah. The UGCC's emphasis on achieving independence through constitutional reforms and political activism established a precedent for future political strategies in Ghana. The Big Six and National Heroes. The arrest of the Big Six leaders of the UGCC following the 1948 Accra riots brought international attention to the Gold Coast independence struggle. These leaders, J.B. Danquah, Pa Grant, Edward Akufo-Addo, William Ofori-Atta, Emmanuel Obeche-Bilamte, and Ebenezer Akweje became national icons. Their courage and leadership inspired future generations of Ghanaian politicians and played a significant role in the country's path to independence. Political education and civic engagement. The UGCC was instrumental in raising political awareness and fostering civic engagement among Ghanaians. Through rallies, protests and public meetings, the UGCC educated citizens about their rights and responsibilities, laying the groundwork for a politically engaged society. This legacy of political education is evident in Ghana's vibrant civil society and active democratic participation. The UGCC's strategies and principles influenced subsequent political movements. Its commitment to constitutionalism, democracy, and peaceful activism informed the strategies of later political parties. Even after the UGCC dissolved, its ideological foundations continue to shape Ghanaian politics, emphasizing democracy, rule of law, and good governance. Enduring vision. J.B. Danquah's vision of a democratic and prosperous Ghana continues to resonate. His advocacy for democratic principles, individual freedoms, and human rights has left a lasting impact on Ghanaian political thought. This vision guides political leaders and informs public policy, contributing to the nation's ongoing efforts to build a stable and democratic society. Conclusion. The legacy of the UGCC is a testament to the power of organized political action and visionary leadership. By laying the groundwork for Ghana's independence movement and promoting political education, the UGCC played a crucial role in shaping modern Ghana. Its enduring influence on political thought, civic engagement, and democratic principles continues to inspire and guide the nation. The UGCC story remains a powerful reminder of the importance of unity, perseverance, and the unwavering pursuit of justice and freedom. The formation of the United Gold Coast Convention was a pivotal movement in Ghana's journey towards independence. By uniting a diverse group of educated elites and businessmen under a common vision, the UGCC laid the groundwork for the nationalist movement that ultimately led to the end of British colonial rule. The organization's emphasis on constitutional reforms, political engagement, and peaceful activism set a precedent for future political movements in Ghana. Despite internal challenges and ideological differences, the UGCC's contributions to the independence movement were profound and enduring. The legacy of the UGCC is a testament to the power of collective action, visionary leadership, and the unwavering pursuit of self-governance. As Ghana continues to navigate its political future, the principles and achievements of the UGCC remain a source of inspiration and a reminder of the enduring quest for freedom, democracy, and justice.
The national flag is a lovely scene with beautiful colors, red, gold, and green, and a black star in the center representing the freedom of Africa.